93 laps now. He's been, oh, trouble. Kez Gralla into the outside wall, along with Rico Abreu in the 98.
Gralla on the outside, the 24. Rico in the 98. And they are both under power, which is a good sign. Right here just on the front stretch, just before the start-finish line, and a lot of debris coming off that 24 truck.
Just gets loose down on that bottom. It had the truck turning well, which is a key to success. Oh, look at Peters. What a great job, huh?
They made contact, but Timothy was able to maintain control.
Watch it from Peters' viewpoint.
This is as good as it gets right here.
It's going to be scary here.
5 minutes. Keep it high.
He gave him all the room he could possibly give him.
And you can see Rico, he just saw the crash ahead, tried to turn to the bottom. That tells you how loose these trucks can get. If you've got to make a quick move, you got to get away from you in a hurry.
There's the rear end damage on that 24 GMS machine. Back with 22 laps to go. Tommy Joe Martins and Derek Scott Jr. both laps down.
A lot of damage to that Diamond Gusset Jean Chevrolet for Tommy Joe Martins. A lot of fluid down on the racetrack as well.
Significant contact here, and Tommy Joe Martins obviously upset. It's a very small budget team, and the last thing they needed was to damage their racetrack.
You can tell here. Oh, looks like he just drives into the corner really deep and
just runs in the back of him.
Martins didn't expect that for sure. And
from Jordan Anderson's on.
63. Got one spinning at the top, spinning at the very top. Bottom, bottom, bottom. You're good, you're good.
So it looked like the 0-2 of Derek Scott just got into the back of Martins.
Nothing Tommy could do at that point.
Martins, you can see the frustration and the damage. Not the way he wanted his night to end.
Georgeton Wayne Self cuts down his left rear tire. Hard contact with a safer barrier for the 92 truck of Parker Kligerman.
More contact, Timothy Peters, and the 24 is out.
Oh, heavy damage for Caleb Holman in the 75 Food Country truck. And guys, we're going to have another restart.
Action had to pick up.
Yeah, you have to believe that we had contact, just like we saw earlier. Yeah, he's going to point at somebody.
22 it looked like, maybe.
Maybe the 22 of Austin.
Wings inside of Cameron Haley.
Whoa!
Contact. Big contact between Jones and Haley, both with significant damage.
We saw the exact same thing happen last year with John Hunter Nemechek and Matt Crafton. They were battling for the 6th spot right here. Look at all the damage to Cameron Haley's truck, as well as the 51 of Eric Jones.
Now watch what happens here. Just lost it.
Just got loose, getting in the corner.
Eric got up off the bottom, got right up against the 13, and it just sucked him around. It's just, you know, this racetrack has a lot of aerodynamics. It's a fast track, and you enter that corner like that, you know, and Eric probably got a little loose getting in and had to work it up. That's exactly what happened. He just got a little loose getting in there, got right up into Cameron.
And you need some more room. When that happens, you have to have some extra room to catch the truck, and unfortunately, Cameron was there.
On board with Eric Jones.
Outside 13.
You could hear the rear wheel squeal just a little bit when that truck initially got loose. And you're so fast, probably in excess of 150 miles an hour getting in turn 3.
Sorry, guys. Still in there.
That's from Cole Custer's on board.
Come on the bottom. 1 lane down, 1 lane, 1 lane. There you go.
Boy, Cole did a nice job there. He realized that Shane Lee was the 07 was inside him.
The front row back to 4th. Maybe go fall into 5th. Daniel Hemrick spins and some contact. Trying to get past his teammate Tyler Reddick.
Boy, it looks like minimal contact. Really, really fortunate.
The battle for 5th between a couple of teammates.
You see that all the time, getting into turn 3.
And here comes Hemrick trying to get inside for position of Reddick. We've seen it before tonight. Got a little loose on the inside, and then the contact.
Yeah, it was classic. You know, Daniel tried to drive it down in there, and the back of the truck bounced, and it moved him up the track.
View from a little further back.
And that's Eric Jones on board.
Come on the bottom. Keep coming bottom.
Looked like Cole Custer got a little bit loose.
Giving it up, but Byron a little too strong.
Trouble.
Big trouble. The 66 and the 22, and now the 1 involved as well. The 66, Jordan Anderson. Austin Self, the 22, and that 1 of Jennifer Jo Cobb.
We can see Austin Wayne Self pull the window net down. You can see him moving around in there. That was a really hard hit from the 1 of Jennifer Jo Cobb.
Our 6th caution of the night. Heavy damage to all 3 vehicles.
Yeah, you can see Jennifer moving around as well in her truck. That's a good sign. Look at all the damage to the right side of that truck. Look at the top of the windshield there.
Ambulance.
I just want to point that out.
You were saying 4, right? Yeah.
See, Jordan Anderson
Yep,
got
in
into
the
the
back.
back of the 22 of Austin Wayne Self. Certainly not intentional, but watch when the 22 comes back down the racetrack. His wheels were cut. Jennifer trying to get by on the inside. She was already down in the grass trying to get by. Nowhere to go.
Watch it from on board the 51 of Eric Jones.
Inside.
Yeah, you see Jordan actually locked the brakes up before he got into the back of the 22 of Austin Wayne Self.
So Jordan Anderson getting into the 22 of Austin Wayne Self, and then you see the heavy contact between the 1 and the 22. And Jordan Anderson able to drive away.
He's running 3 or 4
Yellow
feet. Caution's out.
John West Townley brings out the caution with 17 laps remaining, and we're going to have a restart.
Wow, John West was having a good run too, running up in the top 10. See the damage to the left side of that Zaxby Chevy.
Roll right there. Get rolling.
Exception of Christopher Bell that wanted this
Everybody
restart.
wanted it other than Bell, right?
Watch that replay. It looked like Spencer Gallagher got in the quarter panel.
Helped him around a little.
Definitely got a little help. Hard hit.
Tough break. And from their side of it, you know, it's not really a tough break. They got run into. You know,
Right.
I'm sure there was no intent involved with that, but nonetheless, the contact.
Ben Rhodes is pushing. Nemechek on the outside. All kind of contact into the wall.
Sorry. No caution. Keep going.
The caution is out. A lot of damage.
Matt Crafton, hard driver's side in the wall.
Got all the damage to Reddick's truck.
That's exactly what I was afraid of, Phil. That aerodynamics. And then John Hunter got the jump on him, but Christopher went down in there and got right on his quarter
in the
panel.
41.
Thanks to the boost from Ben Rhodes.
Yes. I'm not sure he wanted that boost right about then.
Then a bunch of contact. Some were able to avoid and some were not.
I think maybe the 41 got the 29 into the corner a little bit harder than he could hold it.
That's exactly what happened, Phil. He gave him a shot right as he got to the entry. Oh, Matt Crafton.
That was
Wow.
a big hit. On board here
Still
with
outside.
Reddick.
41 inside. Hang on to it. Lock it down. Lock it down.
Couple hard hits there for Reddick.
On board the 8 of Nemechek.
Go on underneath. There's 2 of them underneath here. 1. Oh, he runs you up. Boom. Hit the fence. Sorry. Keep going. Keep going.
Hard hits.
Out again. Turn 1.
John West Townley and Spencer Gallagher together.
Remember, these guys got together before when John West got turned around into the outside wall.
Yeah, I'm going to say this time it's not coincidence.
We've been told that Matt Crafton has been released from the infield care center. Declined the opportunity to speak with our reporter as John West Townley and Spencer Gallagher exchanging words. And oh, they're going at it. This is going to be good here.
Hope the trucks aren't coming.
John West Townley and Spencer Gallagher down there in turn 1. And there's points for a takedown. And the fans are loving it. Townley and Gallagher. John West Townley landed a couple of good blows there. And I'm not sure if the fight was over or they just got too tired to continue.
Yeah, I knew it wasn't coincidence those two trucks were sitting there tore up. Yeah, it's late there. It's a little hard to tell how far up under.
It's been an exciting night. We've had a little bit of everything tonight. They're going to fight to the finish. We're not done yet.
Gonna fight
Jordan Anderson, but look at Anderson working the outside.
Oh, we got a trouble.
Into the concrete.
But Rico's turned around.
One into the wall, and there's some contact and some damage on the right rear of Abreu as well.
That Austin Wayne Self we saw sideways back there.
Yeah, get it fired up.
There's Self bringing it down.
Boy, when you can spin and not have any more damage than that, pretty fortunate. Abreu looks like maybe he was on the outside of Self. Self got loose and they made a little bit of contact. You can see that's pretty significant. Look at the Bondo and parts and pieces fly off that 22 truck as he hits.
Tough break for both these drivers and teams.
I think Abreu's going to be able to get away, Vince, without much damage. This will certainly set Self well back.
He had a season best 13 just a few races ago back at Texas. Did Self.
Went right around the top and took those spots away.
9th place.
Oh,
Contact. Spencer Gallagher and Kyle Busch. Busch into the wall.
That's us. 30-23 guys.
Heavy damage to the left side of the machine of Kyle Busch.
Looked like Spencer Gallagher just got a little bit loose.
Kyle was 13th at the time.
Probably a little bit disappointed and upset with what happened there.
He's climbing out. 23 guys putting in the wall there.
Yeah, we know how much Kyle Busch wants to win these races. We know how much of a team owner is. He wants to see one of his guys win this race, but he would rather win the race for Kyle Busch Motorsports than see one of his young drivers do it.
Well, I remember it was the penalty that put Kyle back there. Too many men over the wall. Kyle was running up well inside the top 10 prior to that penalty and had to go back.
I think the penalty was almost intentional. I think they needed to make some adjustments on that truck, that they needed more people. So I think they knew they were going to get a penalty, but they were going to stay on pit road long enough. They were going to be at the back.
Watch the 23 of Gallagher and the 18 of Kyle Busch with Jordan Anderson underneath Gallagher.
Yeah, I think Jordan went into the corner and gave Anderson a little bit of extra room, and that caused him to be higher than Kyle expected him to be, and the two made contact.
It almost looked like Spencer turned away from Jordan Anderson, and that was just enough to get into that left rear of Kyle Busch's truck.
But Parker Kligerman had to avoid that mishap as well, nearly got involved. A couple of guys from Las Vegas went bust.
Whoa, look at
Daniel Hemrick with a caution with lights on got into the outside wall.
what a great restart we had there by John Hunter Nemechek. He is now up inside the top 5. Check out.
You're record 3 and 4. Caution is out. Save again. Save again.
Saving gas.
Get in the wall there. Yeah, just next to it. That's 4. Just saw it when you came by here.
Save me some gas and don't hit the wall.
I think we got to pit now, Michael. We've run 26 laps since we were last on pit road for the guys running up in the top 12 spots, and then we know
Who's going to come in. You heard the radio, the team telling him you're going to have to do a pass-through.
Big crash, turn 3.
A lot of damage. There's the 19 of Hemrick involved, the 13 of Cameron Haley, Caleb Holman in the 75.
Stuart's freezing.
How about that? Ben Kennedy. We talked about
Look at the
Kennedy's
damage.
need for a good night tonight.
Look at the damage on the 75 truck of Caleb Holman. It looked like Holman and Spencer Gallagher were at the beginning of this crash. I think they just dove into the corner, got tangled up, and went into the outside wall. And, of course, going into the outside wall, when people are committed up there, there just isn't anywhere for people to go.
Caleb Holman in that 75, he was the fastest qualifier in our single truck qualifying. Certainly one of the highlights of his career. Big damage to the 23 of Spencer Gallagher.
That just shows you how fast they're going. I know, we're on a dirt track. The pole was somewhere around 85 miles an hour, but that's how quickly, when things go wrong, these things can get wadded up and tied together. And, man, we saw 7 or 8 trucks in that crash, and just look at how bad Caleb Holman's truck is torn up.
Nothing left of the back of that food country truck.
Holman limping to pit lane. Well, we had some chase trucks involved there. We saw the 8 of John Hunter Nemechek. Nemechek already with a win this season and looks to be in the chase handily, along with, of course, William Byron in the 9. He was involved in that. He's won 4 times this season.
Vince, we talk about the fact that William Byron is locked in the chase, Matt Crafton, but we have a lot of guys trying to point their way in. Ben Kennedy had a little piece of that too, and he's right in there trying to point his way into the chase.
As is Daniel Hemrick there in that 19. Now, Hemrick came into this race 43 points to the good, which you'd think is a pretty good cushion points-wise, but not if he has a couple of races like this.
And just think about a guy that huge crash was a break for. Rico Abreu was getting ready to have to come to pit road for a pass-through penalty. He would have lost a minimum of 1 lap, probably 2. Now he's going to be able to serve that penalty under caution, and he'll just go to the tail end.
Remember, these guys can look at this truck. They cannot do any work until the red flag is lifted.
Let's take a look at this replay and see if we can get an indication of where it starts. Keep an eye on the 16 of Stuart Friese there.
There was some contact.
Yeah.
It was the 75, and I believe it might have been Friesen in the 16 that got together initially, and then you can see maybe from a better angle here. But watch how this track is just blocked for these guys that are committed to the outside.
And how was Johnny Sauter going to get by there? He actually got a little damage, ran into the side of the 75. Timothy Peters as well.
And the 13 truck of Haley, he escaped any damage. I think he's in the middle of it, but he didn't hit anything really.
Right along with Cody Coughlin. He was far enough back he was able to see it drive by in the inside.
See it again up this up top shot, and you can see him sliding in, and there's it's definitely the 16 of Friesen involved in that.
I think it looked like he may have been trying to go to the bottom.
Yeah.
And when he did turn left to go to the bottom, the 75 of Caleb Holman was there.
Well, just crazy damage to that 75 as you look at all the trucks that were involved in this one.
On roads as well. Bell up to 3rd.
Problem for Kyle Larson.
Right rear tire is gone on that 24 truck.
Larson comes to a stop, and a caution is out.
Stop.
How about that?
We heard from his radio that they're going to hold him a lap, and they're probably going to deem that intentionally bringing out the caution, Caitlin.
Well, Kyle Larson said just moments before he had a right rear tire going down, so he knew that was happening. Unfortunate break for him, one of the most promising racers throughout the course of the night, but some misfortune for the 24 tonight.
Misfortune indeed from the lead having that problem. 2 of the 3 years here, Larson has been passed in the final lead change to win this race. Was second one time, ended up 26th another. That's certainly not indicative of how good he was on that particular night, but this is another bad break for the 24 of Kyle Larson.
Got to figure maybe some contact with a lap truck, possibly cut his right rear tire down. You can see there it's flat.
Gone now. Yeah.
And he's going to spin out off turn 4, loop it around, and knows he needs a caution and thinks maybe that's a good way to get one, but NASCAR is going to hold him for intentionally bringing out the caution. Classic textbook slide job, and he makes it work.
You see how that cushion grabbed that right rear of that truck and sent it back on the racetrack?
And did you see the angle he had? I mean, the only way he was going to make that corner was if something grabbed it, whether it was the wall or the dirt. He made it work with the dirt.
Really impressed with the job that Rhodes has done here tonight.
Oh, trouble. Off of turn 4.
Wow. That was a case where Cody Coughlin in the 51 got out of whack. He was sideways too far and caught another truck, and it just collected 2 or 3 others. Bad crash.
And that will be the break that Kyle Larson needs to get that free pass and get back on the lead lap.
And now we can grab a few
I
spots.
think I had a problem or something.
It resulted in one for sure. You could see William Byron was collected again. William made pretty heavy contact with Coughlin. This is a good time for Larson to get that free pass, Phil, because he's going to have a few laps to try to gain some spots before the next caution.
Remember that second segment. This second segment will end at approximately 90 laps.
Watch
We've
this.
completed 73.
Gasses it up. Just gets too loose here. Watch.
Right into Brandon Brown.
And then that was William Byron, the second pounce.
Johnny Sauter was involved in that also. Here's a different look. You see.
Yeah, he was in a process of spinning out, it looked like, and Brandon Brown came along, an innocent bystander on the inside,